Hi everyone, it's Heather with the Rosie Pandemonium Mom. We've already gone over our curriculum choices for this upcoming school year. And now I feel like it's important for you to kind of see how we schedule and plan out the year as a whole. We have a family rhythm. We also plan out our curriculum choices. And I have chores for the kids for daily and weekly. And I wanted to kind of give you a quick overview of what all that is. So can't wait to show you what we do. And if you have any questions at the end, feel free to go ahead and comment below, and I'll get right back about our planning and our daily rhythm. And the first thing that I'm going to go through when I'm planning is working on what our daily rhythm is. Now, each year I kind of do a different daily rhythm because our family tends to change over time, obviously. I have a high schooler this year and also 2 elementary schools and a preschooler. So our day is a little bit different than it was last year, but I wanted to show you last year's as well as this year so you can kind of see our family tends to change, and I don't personally really schedule our days by time as much as I do by just the activities that we do. So last year, I had a plan where I did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because we did more of a 4-day school week last year and all of our previous years. In the morning, we always have just waking up and having breakfast, our devotionals and our baskets. Sometimes we would combine those two. We'd have devotional with our morning basket at breakfast, and that kind of helped to get us going in the morning. Then we do math time, outside free time, come back in and do our language, then have our lunch. All the kids have chores, and I'll show you and tell you about that in a moment. Science and social studies is after lunch. Last year we kind of broke it up and did science on Mondays and Wednesdays, social studies on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and if for some weird reason we kind of got a little behind, we would double up on the preceding days so we got caught up. Then we would do piano or some kind of music and typing, dinner. Then we have chores, showers, and free time, and we'd have our vitamins and go to bed. On Fridays, we did a little bit different. Like I said, we had pretty much more of a 4-day week. So instead of doing math, we'd have our big chores, and I'll show you those in a moment too. Then outside free time, school, if for some weird reason we were sick or, we had doctor's appointments or something and we needed to kind of make that up, we would do it then. Lunch, chores, free time all afternoon, dinner, chores, showers, and then on Friday nights we always have movie and pizza night. My oldest makes the pizza now because he enjoys that. And then we do vitamins and bedtime. This year we've kind of taken almost the same type of schedule, but we've switched around a little bit with how we've been working during the summer, and we want it to be easy for the kids to know what's coming next without making it too overwhelming for them. So this year we're doing breakfast, then we'll have morning basket, playtime stretch. We tend to go outside if it's nice weather and it's not too hot or the allergens aren't too bad. We have quite a few of us who have extreme allergies, so we have to kind of take that into consideration. Playtime could inside just be, doing, some dancing or hopping or skipping or whatever, just enough to kind of get their bodies moving and ready for the school day. Math and language is next. Our math and language isn't terribly long at this age, so combining them is not really that big of a deal. That way I can get through working with each kid as well individually. Then we have lunch. After lunch we have chores. And chores for my kids are pretty simple. We have the oldest gets the dishes done and put away. The next will sweep. Then the next youngest will clean the table. And the next after that wipes the chairs. So it's really not like huge amounts of chores, but it's enough that they are capable of doing it and kind of work together in our family. Science and history. The youngest ones we are doing Monday, Wednesday for one subject, Tuesday, Thursday for the other. And then the second oldest will be doing both every day, but it's just a short amount so we can still get it in easily. Enrichment studies, we are doing Spanish, typing, art, and we're also doing Latin this year. Free time, we have dinner, chores and showers, or baths, depending on which child it is, after dinner. The only thing added on chores is the second oldest gets the trash taken out for the night. Free time, then we have our Bible time as a family, our vitamins, and then bedtime. So that's the difference in our schedule this year than it was last year. I really highly suggest finding a rhythm for your family that's seems natural, and it may take a few weeks to kind of figure out what works for you and your kids. All kids are so different, all families are so different, so just finding a rhythm that really works for you guys is highly important, in my opinion, to homeschooling and to living life together. I'm also going to show you my oldest. He's in 9th grade, and he needs to have a little more structure because he has a lot more going on this school year. So he is going to be doing a lot more independently this year because he needs more responsibility as he gets older. He's 14 now. So at 7 a.m., I prefer him to wake up, get his bed done, get ready for the day. He needs to have breakfast done at 8 and his Bible. 9 o'clock, I put Bible because, if it goes into 9 o'clock, it's not a big deal for me, honestly. 10 a.m. is Fix-It Grammar, literature. He also had IEW at 9 a.m. Math at 11, lunch from 12 to 1:15. That includes his chores, which is getting the dishes into the dishwasher. 1:30 is science, 2 is history, 2:30 is typing, Latin, music, or Spanish, depending on what day of the week it is. 3 o'clock, we go to the allergist and drop him off at swim. At night, he has his chores, and dinner. I didn't write those down because it just depends on what time. And on Mondays and Thursdays, his swim can run into that. So his schedule is just a little bit different. It kind of varies. Bedtime, I always want him done by 10 o'clock at night, his lights out. So Fridays, his load is not as heavy. That's why you only see like a half of a day. But this is just kind of an idea of where I want him to be at certain times. But obviously some days, it might not take him as long to kind of wake up and get moving. He might want to have breakfast earlier or start his school day earlier. And I am okay with that, but I'm not wanting it to vary so much that like he's waking up at 8:30 and rushing around to get done or not really taking his time to get done. With him, he has a 52-week Bible reading plan. That's for a whole year. I want him to start when school starts with week 1, and that way he will be done by the time school starts again next year. Then for him, he has his high school morning basket schedule. It's mostly Bible and theology books so that he can study on his own. And then he goes into the Gentle Feast morning basket just like the rest of us. Morning routines kind of go hand in hand with our family rhythm. And the high schooler's morning routine as we saw, he wakes up about 7. I let him sleep in a little bit longer on Fridays and weekends. He gets dressed and get ready. Obviously, brush teeth, wash face. Sometimes teenagers just still need to remind them to do that, and that's okay. Make bed, breakfast, Bible, get his schoolwork completed. And then the evening, he has his dishes. He needs to do his shower, brush his teeth, wash his face, take his vitamins, straighten his bedroom, lights out at 10 p.m. I tend to straighten the house right before I go to bed, after all the kids are in bed, so I can wake up and make sure that, there's not a mess for me to take care of or anything. So I want him to get in the routine of doing that for himself. So when, someday he is old enough and goes to college or moves out, then he is prepared to do the same things for his house and his life that he has been doing at home. The kids also have their routines. At morning time, I want all the 3 youngest ones to brush their teeth, comb their hair, get dressed, make their bed, and eat breakfast. And then at night, they have their bath or shower, put on their PJs, brush their teeth, clean up the room, and do their vitamins. Now, I have lanyards for them because then they can just put it around their neck so they can remember what they're supposed to do, and then they bring it to me and I can mark it off for what they have done that day. My youngest, she can't read yet, so I did pictures and brush teeth, brush hair, make her bed, get dressed, eat breakfast. She's one that I don't really worry about eating breakfast, but a couple of the other ones are like, I don't feel hungry today. I want them to be able to have something in their stomach and be able to remember that eating is important and what we eat is important as well. And at night, those are the vitamins that we use. So, get their pajamas on, have their vitamins, brush their teeth, and get ready for bed. Okay, guys, here is how I schedule the rest of the school year using our curriculum. I am a person who I don't plan super far in advance because I know that sometimes we have little blips in the road where we may have a sick kid or a doctor's appointment, or we're just having a rough day and we kind of need to reevaluate what we need to do or what we need to get done for the day. And I find that to be okay. With Master Books, we have a schedule in the front that I showed you before of what needs to be done each day. So I kind of follow that. Thankfully, Master Books is a very gentle approach. So we take those days where, things are just not going in the way that we want them to go, and we may double up here or there. So we really take those schedules from Master Books or BJU or IEW, whatever, and we take them and use them in our daily routine. So what I do is I take my schedule and I go week by week. I already have it planned out from those curriculums, and I just write them down in my planner. So I have the first week's planner already done and ready to go for the most part, because I don't want to be looking or searching for something, that day. So I like to go over what the kids are going to be doing, usually Saturday before the week starts, and I get everything written down in here. And my oldest high schooler has his own planner, so I write down what he's supposed to do each day, so he's not searching for it as well in his curriculum. So at the top, I have the morning basket time, and we're doing term 3 of the morning basket, morning time from A Gentle Feast. We'll start term 1 with the next cycle in January. But term 3, week 1, so we're doing that all week. It's already planned out, so it's not a big deal for me. And then my oldest has his Bible basket. And like I showed you, he already has his plan written down. So I will keep all those sheets at the end of the year of what they did for each curriculum. And if, Bible, I don't give grades for. So it's just going to be the sheets that he used and how everything's planned out for him. So we have records of that. Math, I have everything written down for my oldest. He's doing lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4, and then I think he's doing lesson 5 and 6 at the end of the week. And then the younger kids, I don't write that down until we actually do it, because especially my youngest, Elle, he really enjoys math. So sometimes he wants to do 2 lessons. And for me, I am okay with that as long as he's retaining it. So I won't write down what lesson they are doing until they've done it. So we do it. I put the books on my desk. I grade it later, and it was just not a big deal, especially if we're doing it together. And then I go from grading it, writing the grade in that book, and putting it into my planner at the same time. Now with my history, I kind of do the same thing, except for my youngest, I know what I want to be done for this week. So I go ahead and write that down. Same with science, language arts, and we rotate all of our other extracurricular curriculums: typing, Spanish and Latin, music, we use Squilt, poetry, art, and we rotate that. So some days, might be a Monday, we will do music, then we do poetry on Tuesday, then art on Wednesday, then Thursday we do typing, then, hit back around to the next Monday, we'll do Spanish and Latin. So, we just kind of rotate it. So if we did one thing the day before, we'll do the next thing the next day that we do school. So for instance, we have Labor Day weekend coming up. We won't have school on Monday on Labor Day. I try to kind of go with the holidays, and I don't have school on those days. Or if we have a birthday, I don't have school on that day. So if we did Spanish and Latin on the Friday before Labor Day, we're skipping Labor Day. So we would hit music up on Tuesday instead of just skipping it for Monday, if that makes sense. And then my youngest, she's going to be working on the letter A all week, the first week. Have books and, just hands-on activities for her. So I don't really write everything down because, I'm not grading her or anything on it. I just kind of want to have a rough idea of what she's doing. Okay, so I'm going to show you over here. This is my teacher book. I will write down where I got this printable because it's awfully cute. And I'm a very visual person. So I like cute things that kind of inspire me. And that one did, so I put it in my notebook. I have my notice of intent in my notebook, so it's handy if I ever need it for whatever reason comes up. I have all of the things that I have purchased in my notebook just so I can go back to it, and at the end of the year when I gather everything up, I can put it all together and I can see what I purchased for each school year, and I have a set limit so I can hopefully stay within that limit the next school years. When it comes to knowing what weeks and such we are doing school, I take the 36 weeks and then I take a calendar for the entire year. I just print it off of my computer and I go through and say, okay, I would like to do school here and there. I don't want to do school there. And I want to just get 36 weeks in. For me, that's what matters. I try to have June off, and I like to have a week or so for Thanksgiving and at least 2 weeks for Christmas. This year, we are doing 6 weeks on and 1 week off. That gives us enough time where we really dive into the curriculum, but then we get to the point where, our brains kind of need a really good break. And that week gives us a good break where we can kind of decompress and then get ourselves right back into the swing of things the next week. So this year we're starting in August. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, then week 5 is the end of August into September. The next week we have the 6th week, and then we have a week off. And then we'll do 6 on again. And I will write week off. So here's week 12. And then next week I have no school for that week. Now, November didn't really, we had the first week off of November, which is fine. So we will do week 13 and 14 on. Then we have the next week off. So we have actually 2 weeks off in November, and then we go into December and we take 2 weeks off in December. And I kind of do like a mid-year exam, and I'll show you what we do as we get closer to that time. But that just kind of breaks up the school year for us. Then January, February, March, April, May. And I think we're ending the year at the end of May. And that gives us roughly 6 weeks on, 1 week off, with the exception of November and December. What I like about that is if, for instance, we decide, hey, we want to take a little vacation or something, I can move that week around. It's not set in stone, but it's something that I like to kind of go by as much as possible. Then I have tabs for each of my kids. I have what they're doing for the year and what I kind of want to follow. So the youngest, we have Bible verses for each week. So there's 36 Bible verses, and we go with that for her. Then the next one, I have all of their answer keys. So if I, for some reason, it's not so big of a deal when they're younger for me. I don't really have an issue with figuring out what the answers would be. Now, but as they get older, sometimes the answers I might have to figure out what it is. So it's just easier to have the answer keys. So I have language, then I have math for them. Then let's see. I don't have the social studies in here for him because I have a completely separate book with the teacher's guide printed out, and we do it together. It's not really where I do much grading for him at this age. And then science, where I kind of want to go with for him. Then the next one, same thing, language, math, science, history. And then the oldest is the math, is where I really make sure that I have the answer keys, because I love math, but I don't always have the time to sit there and figure out the answer to every single problem. So I have his math book is actually a PDF, so I keep it in my computer. But I do have his daily schedule written down, and he has one too, just to kind of follow if he needs to. But this is where I write his score and the date and all of that. And in those, I have a stamper, which it has the dates and stuff. So I just stamp the date. So I don't write as much, but the kids love to stamp their books, so I let them do it. And then the oldest, I just stamp for them and I put the grade down. So I have his math there. I also have his science. It's also master book, so everything's kind of the same. And his history, I haven't really decided how I'm going to put his grade down. I'll probably just kind of write it in the margin but this is the lesson plan overview. I have all of his, all the answer keys and stuff in the teacher's books, so I don't put them in here actually, but I just wanted to kind of have all of their overview all together so I know what they're supposed to be doing, when they're supposed to be doing it. I'll check back every once in a while and go, okay, so if we are in week 6 of school, we should be on week 6 in the curriculum. And if we're not, how are we going to get back up to schedule? So I take a very light approach to scheduling. Others, like to plan out literally every single day for the entire year before the school year starts. For me, as a former school teacher, I know that there's kind of a plan of where we want to go, but even then, because I worked with kids who had different levels of where they were at, I didn't always stay on a strict schedule. I just wanted them to be able to, learn the curriculum that they needed to learn. And so I kind of do the same thing here. I'm a little bit of a planner, but I'm not a huge planner, because I think, following your child on what they need and what they need to work on as to what they already know and picking up easily is the best thing. Especially as a homeschooler, we get the option to do that. And that is, I think, a great place to be at as a parent, as a teacher, is to follow what the child needs and follow what the child already knows to build on to that. So I hope you enjoyed our little planning overview. It's really not that hard, you guys, and just kind of getting into it is going to be the best thing for you. I think, not comparing yourself to what other people do, but to doing what you feel is comfortable and what you feel is best for your kids is the number one priority as a teacher and as a homeschool parent. Follow your kids, because all of them are so different. Even my 4 have different strengths and different weaknesses, and that is what we need to follow. So enjoy your school year. Any questions, please feel free to put them down below.